happens in South Africa. It is only through women leadership and women decisive intervention that we will be able to defeat GBV in South Africa and women occupy their rightful place in South African politics, in the judiciary, in the legislature, and in the executive. A woman's place is no longer in the kitchen as they prescribed those who hate women. The woman's place is everywhere where decisions are taken. Women must be there to ensure that men are well behaved and they are peaceful in their conduct, and that they provide cool-headed solutions to challenges confronting society. Fellow fighters, the domestic conditions in South Africa remain ripe for change, but the domestic conditions alone will never win us an election. We need to adequately communicate to our people that the conditions they are subjected to are not normal and can and must change. It is our duty to not fall into the campaign tactics and tricks of those who seek to divide African people in order to secure a vote. There has been much made about specific areas in our society that will be critical points in the 2024 election. And as you go into commissions, this must form part of your thinking, strategies, and tactics. It is our collective duty to constantly conduct political and ideological competitor analysis and counter information so that we can always undermine distortions by our enemies who seek to win of the divisions of Africans. The ruling party in South Africa, after having tested the ground through various proxies and puppets on the ground, has taken a deliberate decision that it will suddenly blame the social ills of our country on illegal immigrants. The very same ruling party that has African in its name has adopted as an election strategy that it will attribute its failures to African people. And it does so to take advantage of our people and distract them from the fact that they have failed. They do this out of desperation, and part of their strategy, most recently, is to invoke apartheid as a reason for their 3 decades of failure to change the lives of black people in South Africa. The lack of investment in education means that we do not have sufficient scientific, engineering, and town planning capacity, which leads to the overcrowding of buildings and the congestion of our people in townships and city centers where there are job opportunities. They blame their negligence on education and skills development on apartheid. It is the EFF that has long warned of the suspicious role of the NGOs in our country, which are funded by the likes of George Soros and have been an ally to various factions of the ANC since the dawn of democracy. Now, because it suits them, they have betrayed their NGO allies who have never held them accountable for issues such as the sealing of the CR17 documents, the Pala Pala farm saga, and the overall failing presidency of Cyril Ramaphosa. They are now able to blame NGOs because it suits their agenda. The ruling party in South Africa is attempting to play a delicate balance between being proud to have governed since 1994, while at the same time being so ashamed of its failures that they depict themselves as victims of the system. The EFF must be able to articulate that the domestic conditions of South Africa of collapsing infrastructure, lack of electricity, lack of water, lack of housing, and the rising cost of living must be blamed on the ruling party that was never prepared to govern in the first place. Our state-owned enterprises are being privatized by unaccountable Minister of Private Enterprise by the name of Jamnandas Godan, who is permanently sick whenever he has to account to Parliament for his role in destroying our assets. We must articulate this to our people who suffer chronic load shedding and lack of affordable transport because a group of individuals are selling our national assets such as Eskom and Transnet to the highest bidder. Fellow comrades, our institutions are compromising defense of a president who has no capacity to take our country forward. The Office of Public Protector has been destroyed in defense of a money launderer. The Office of the Reserve Bank has been destroyed in defense of a woman abuser called Cyril Ramaphosa. The Office of Revenue Services has been destroyed in defense of Cyril Ramaphosa. I can tell you this without any hesitation. They are now attempting to destroy the IEC so that the IEC can defend Ramaphosa's defeat on the polls in 2024. But they must find us ready for them. We must never allow anyone who is a member of SATU or any member of the union that is aligned to COSATU to be part of the IEC. COSATU has declared on daily basis that it will support the ANC. How can members of unions aligned to COSATU be allowed to go and be presiding officers and IEC staff members at the VD level? I don't know these people. You know them very well. You are going to identify them and you are going to object them. And if you see them on election day working for the IEC, we will stop the VD until those individuals are removed because they've declared their intentions very clear. Comrades, why do you hire teachers who are affiliated to SATU when there are so many young people in South Africa who are unemployed, who can get an opportunity on that day to work for 1 or 2 days and something and be able to earn something for a living? Comrades, there are a lot of people who are not registered to vote. Home Affairs and IEC, they are refusing with the data of the people who are not registered to vote. When you are a South African, you have an ID. Home Affairs has got a data of all of us. Therefore, Home Affairs will have a data of all those who have turned 18 and above. And because the IEC works under Home Affairs, then Home Affairs will give to the IEC that these are the people who are 18 and above South Africans, all of them. Then the IEC will plug that into their system. Then it will tell them those who are registered and those who are not registered. Therefore, we'll have names, surnames, and addresses of people who are not registered to vote, so that we can go to those people and convince them about voting. Because if you do not vote, you are actually voting for the ANC by not going to vote. So we need to convince these people. But the IEC is refusing with their data. I have asked, I've not seen it, that a letter, a legal letter, must be written to the IEC, putting it under terms to give us the data of unregistered voters of South Africa. And if the IEC refuses to give us the data, we must go to the Electoral Court and say, how are we expected to fight for free and fair elections when the IEC is refusing us with information that will create free and fair election and ensure that there is maximum participation on the election day after we've registered these unregistered voters. I hope and believe that that IEC has received that letter. Comrades, when we go into doing this work of campaigning, we must never forget that we are government in Johannesburg, and that when we campaign, we must never forget our responsibilities to the people of Johannesburg as MMC of Public Safety and Health, respectively. Deliver to our people. Don't say, now we're going to elections, I'm no longer delivering to our people, I'm going to campaign. As MMC of Public Safety and Health, the reason you are appointed, it is because you are an all-rounder. You can campaign and MMC at the same time and never neglect that responsibility. I'm very happy with the role that the MMC of Public Safety is playing in Johannesburg, especially recently with hijacked buildings and the dilapidated buildings in the CBD of Johannesburg. We want him to continue to fight. I was very happy when you put that Panyaza in his place and made sure that the voice of the municipality was heard because you are not under administration. Don't go into the municipality and think you have a responsibility to impress mayors and premiers of the ANC. You have no such a responsibility. Neither do you have a responsibility to respect them. They don't deserve our respect. They've sold out our people. We are in this situation because of them. My week was made. You see, my voice and my nose are troubled. But when I saw the chairperson of Human Settlement and Infrastructure in Ekurhuleni going to give houses to the victims of 2019 floods, I was the happiest. That this is what our government must do. You must deliver to our people. When the MMC of Infrastructure in Mohali City continues to close potholes and go into the squatter camps and fight for opening roads, access roads into those informal settlements, I'm happy because we said to our people, we'll do things differently. And he took the grader, the MMC of Infrastructure in Mohali City, and went into informal settlement and started opening roads so that pregnant women, when they are about to deliver, an ambulance can have access into that informal settlement. We don't have to wait for a tar road. We don't have to wait to be fully in government. Whatever little resource we lay our hands on must be utilized to benefit the ordinary masses of our people. The MMC of Finance in Ekurhuleni continues to make us proud by massively increasing revenue collection and ensuring that the finances of Ekurhuleni municipality are in order. I watched him on TV the other day where he said they closed the books of the municipality and they've got a surplus of 300+ million, which they've not wasted through corrupt activities. The MMC of Waste Management, I saw you making the DA cry like babies when you took the trucks into Tembisa and Katlehong to go and collect waste from the townships and informal settlement. The DA said when they were government, the trucks were not allowed to go into the townships, therefore they were sabotaged. It is not our problem. It is their own problem. No one can sabotage the government of the EFF in Ekurhuleni. We know the ANC tactics. We know when they are about to engage in shenanigans, we meet them toe for toe. That's why they will never sabotage the government of the EFF. The MMC of Health in Ekurhuleni visiting the clinics, talking to our people on the queues, in the clinics where the queues are long, the MMC, not out of the budget of the municipality, out of her own creativity, creating soup kitchens right outside the clinics so that when our people are queuing, they are able to eat something. We had previously been critical for the performance of the MMC of Nelson Mandela Bay, and it is clear that our criticism, which is a self-criticism, was helpful as we are beginning to see their activities. As the MMC of Infrastructure and Engineering has embarked on initiatives to improve the sewer system in the municipality, while the MMC for Energy and Electricity has launched a load-shedding curtailment pilot project in the municipality. This project entails the installation of meters that will ensure that our people are still able to utilize lights, plugs, and televisions when there is load shedding at a limited rate. We, however, need more public service delivery initiatives, not only from the MMCs of the EFF, but all public representatives, as it is the work of this nature that will be our track record of governance on the campaign trail. We must begin to get reports from all the public representatives. Oh, my favorite place of Metsimahulu, we have nothing to say about you for now, because you have just come in as the MMCs. But we have full confidence in you, comrades. You have done things happen, and you are the biggest area where we drew our votes in 2021. We know that the people of Metsimahulu trust you and trusted you with their votes. That's why they will not expect anything less from you as you assume your responsibilities of being the MMCs. We said to you, members of legislature, parliament, and councils, go and adopt schools, go and adopt clinics, go and adopt kitchens and communities around you and give them support. We said this to you every year, reminding you even in the caucuses. It's very painful now, because for all of you in parliament and legislature, if you get nominated, you are going to have to fill in a form of the schools that you have adopted previously, the clinics, the community work, or any other thing that you did that uplifted the communities where you come from. Talking inside parliament, legislature and council is not enough. Do you want to go back to parliament? Do you want to go back to the legislature? Tell us why, if you have no track record of community work. We tell you all of this when we smile. When times are happier, you think we are joking. When we come to ask for accountability, you cry like crybabies, and you even say people hate you for nothing. I'm very happy for a change in the past 10 years that people get removed from their positions because they did not bring buses, and they don't blame me as a dictator and say all bad things about me, but they blame the chief for having removed them because he hates them from previous conferences. I was so happy, like for the first time, someone can be blamed. Musingisi doesn't play when it comes to those things of holding you individually accountable. So I don't want you to scream and then start blaming Mzingisi for nothing. We told you before, you have not done your work. Accept that we left you for the past 5 years. Be grateful that we're even going to give you your pension from Parliament for doing nothing. Why do you want to fight us if you don't go back for being lazy? Ask some of us. We find comfort by living amongst communities. We may stay in the suburbs, but we spend most of our time changing the lives of those who were told by their neighbors, their siblings and cousins, that there will never be anything in society. We enjoy giving our people back their dignity and their lives. That's what we have done for the past 5 years. That's what we'll continue to do for the next decade, because it is our job. We are not here to impress celebrities. We don't exist for television. We exist for those who are neglected and rejected masses of our people in the informal settlements, in the villages, in the townships, in the factories. All of those people are our friends. When you saw that stadium, they knew that they are going to the festival of their own, because this movement belongs to them and no one else. I hope journalists will start reading the research reports that are given every quarter in this country, and stop calling the EFF the Malema EFF. The research has confirmed undoubtedly that the EFF belongs to educated men and women, that the voters of the EFF are high earners in society, that the EFF as a brand has surpassed the brand Malema, and therefore it has assumed a life of its own. Those of you who thought that you can destroy this organization by associating it with an individual, you have successfully failed. Comrades, like I do it with the